Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. So today we're going to discuss institutional discrimination in the article Where Race Matters Most, and also white privilege in the article Oscar Diversity. So to begin with where race matters most, well, first let's define institutional racism as the textbook does it, which is just racism embedded into society. So it's not just individual acts, it is in the fabric of society that makes it up as a whole. So this article shows the instances of the hiring process or unemployment where racism plays a major role. So, for example, in the article, it shows a chart where it displays the unemployment rates among the working ages of 25 to 59, contrasting whites and blacks in America since World War II. And there's a consistent trend of black people being at a higher rate of unemployment than white people every single year by a decent margin. So, for example, in 2010, the unemployment of white people was 11%, but black was 17%. So again, there's just this huge margin in between them. Um, as far as metropolitan areas in the United States, whites were 1.2 to 4.3 times as likely than blacks to be hired. And again, there's other factors that come into play here, but that's just the general consensus of the data. But the median value of white-black odds ratios across U.S. metropolitan areas was 2.5 in 1980 and 2.8 in 2010 and 14, which shows that this is an intergenerational issue that goes back nearly 40 years now, and if anything, it's just gotten worse. And an issue like this, being that it's such a social issue, you'd think it'd get better, but it hasn't. So shows the problematic significance of this issue. And again, these are just clear examples of prejudice and discrimination, prejudice being the thoughts that maybe white people are more qualified regardless, and the discrimination of actually hiring the white people, whether or not they're qualified or not. So in some metropolitan areas, whites are 3 times more likely than blacks with the same education. So the same opportunity, same education, they're still 3 times more likely. And even in the least pronounced disadvantaged areas, whites are still 1.7 to 2 times more likely to be hired, which is a clear example of white privilege, possibly. White privilege, to smooth segue into the next article, by definition, is benefits of people received by being part of the dominant group, which is white people in this case. So for the article, why more Oscar diversity won't solve Hollywood's whiteness problem, it's basically just tackling the issue of Oscar nominations being overwhelmingly white heterosexual men. Now again, very much an opinion sort of statement, but there are also great actors that are not nominated. Like Will Smith was an example in the article, great actor, one of my favorites, and he's not in there, and they think maybe this is because of racism or white privilege. So for example, Cabin in the Cottons is mentioned in the article, where sharecroppers are all white, disenfranchisement of Southern blacks is entirely absent. And I understand, because this is actually a role where there is a big opportunity for there to be some black actors in there, and it's just not there at all whatsoever. The roles are just given to white actors. So that could be an example of white privilege. They just benefit from being the the more powerful group, the more prevalent group in society. So they're getting all the roles, even though maybe black people are probably more likely or just would play a better part, but it's just given to white people. Um, so that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.